WWE Payback is live on Saturday night from Pittsburgh. As always, we are here to give our predictions for the first premium live event of the fall, even though it's not technically fall yet, but we're going to count it. So let's get into the predictions. Interesting card at play here, man. There's honestly some quality matches on this show. Does feel like a little bit of a lackluster show at the same time. I will say maybe that's because some of the bigger matches kind of feel like they got thrown together over the last several weeks. Like Nakamura just turned heel on the Raw after SummerSlam, and it's been a good build, do not get me wrong, between Nakamura and Rollins, but there's only so much time and steam behind it. Like a match I'm looking forward to, but like it really doesn't feel like, oh man, Rollins and Nakamura this Saturday, must see, you know what I mean? And like overall, the 6 matches that we have announced do look like they could all be pretty good. But I don't know, it just feels like there's a little bit of a lackluster excitement going into this show. But maybe with that little bit of a less excitement going into this show, it'll over deliver and it'll exceed all of our expectations. It'll be a really good show. I still think on paper it looks solid, but compared to what we have seen just in 2023 alone, which has been a pretty great year overall for premium live events in WWE, it is looking a little bit lackluster, but I think it will still deliver on Saturday night. But let's get into the card nonetheless. So we do have a segment announced for this show. We have a Grayson Waller effect with special guest Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes not having a scheduled match for this show, which I mean, he's really just been involved in the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens Judgment Day stuff, but not like fully in there. It's just like, hey, we'll do another 6-man, another tag. We've seen a lot of 6-man tag team matches over the last, really all summer, all Monday Night Raw. But Cody's kind of been loosely involved ever since the Brock Lesnar thing concluded at SummerSlam. Cody really doesn't have a set direction yet, which is why they may have scheduled this for Payback. Not only just so Cody makes an appearance on the show, but maybe to kick off whatever is going to be Cody's next feud. I could very much see this happening earlier on in the show, maybe right after the opening match, having some beef between Rhodes and Waller, and then we get an impromptu matchup later in the night between Cody Rhodes and Grayson Waller. I can honestly see that happening. Feels very television-esque happening on a premium live event, but I wouldn't rule it out. Or maybe somebody's just going to interrupt, attack Cody Rhodes, run him down, have a promo, whatever it's going to be, and that'll be the kickoff to Cody Rhodes' next feud on Monday Night Raw. Who that could be, pick your poison. Obviously, the Judgment Day tied up in business. Rollins and Nakamura tied up in business. Honestly, I could see Shinsuke Nakamura, if he does lose on Saturday night, going into a feud with Cody Rhodes since he's newly turned heel. And let's be real, I'm sure they would not mind just feeding Nakamura to Cody Rhodes. Basically, just giving Cody Rhodes something to do all the way up until WrestleMania season, but remains to be seen. Who knows? Maybe we're going to get a Randy Orton return on Saturday, and he's going to interrupt Cody Rhodes. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not, but we've been calling for Orton's return for months here on the channel. Was hoping for it at Money in the Bank, was hoping for it at SummerSlam. Maybe Payback will be the time we finally see it. Maybe we kick off a Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton feud. Who knows? I'm just speculating, but we do have this segment going down in the show. Should be interesting to see what's going to happen. Getting into the actual matches announced now, we have LA Knight versus The Miz. This has been a hell of a feud so far. Very entertaining stuff on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, even though we are breaking brand split rules, but WWE never wants to follow those. So if we look past that, everything we have gotten between LA Knight and The Miz since SummerSlam has been really entertaining. So I'm looking forward to this matchup on Saturday. And I can't believe I said I'm looking forward to a Miz match in 2023. Not that I dislike the guy, but I mean, it's just a rare occurrence. When's the last time we were looking forward, like actually looking forward to a Miz match? It's a rare occurrence, but LA Knight Miz, I'm sure it's going to be pretty solid, but in the end, no doubt about it, clear-cut winner here, and that being LA Knight. And we will quickly move on to the United States Championship match on SmackDown. We have Austin Theory going one-on-one with the champion himself, Rey Mysterio. You know, I could honestly see this match going either way. I could very much see Austin Theory getting the championship back here, maybe due to possibly a Grayson Waller interference, maybe some miscommunication between Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio, which causes a little tension there. I'm not sure. I think there's a chance that Austin Theory could win this matchup, but considering Rey just won the United States title not even a full month ago yet, it will be a very short reign to already lose it at Payback. I'm going to go ahead and say Rey Mysterio retains the United States Championship. I'm not sure what what's next for Austin Theory after losing his rematch, if you will, for the US title. And I'm not sure what's next for Rey Mysterio. I could see Rey versus Grayson Waller, this time for the United States Championship. I could see Rey and Santos Escobar possibly going into a feud in the near future, possibly at WrestleMania next year. But all remains to be seen. There's a lot of questions, I think, regarding both of these guys after we get through Payback. But when it comes to Saturday night, I'm going to go Rey Mysterio retaining the United States Championship over Austin Theory. Next up, we got the conclusion, thank God, of the Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus feud inside a steel cage. This could not come and go soon enough. Listen, I'm sure the match on Saturday might be half decent. I'm not getting my hopes up, but I am so ready for this feud to be off television, man. Becky and Trish have been sucking the life out of Monday Night Raw all summer long, so fine, even in spring when it started. It's just been going on too long for my liking. We all thought it was going to get blown off at SummerSlam. That's a whole nother situation. They weren't on SummerSlam, honestly, deservingly so, because the feud sucked, but now it got pushed to Payback inside a steel cage. When it comes to the winner, Becky Lynch, hopefully she just wins, puts this feud behind her. Trish, like, all due respect, but I don't need her on television anymore, and we can move on, because I'm so tired of Becky and Trish, one of the most abysmal things on WWE television in the last several years. I'm done with it. I think it's atrocious. I want it to be over with. I've ranted on this feud so many times, and I'm just so ready to pack it up and send it on its way. So as for Saturday night, I think it'll be a solid match. Credit where it's due, and listen, I've given them their credit when it has been due. Their Night of Champions match surprised me. It was better than I thought it was going to be. All this time later, steel cage, Payback, let's wrap it up. Becky, Trish, Becky for the win. Hopefully, if it's solid matchup, let's move on and never look back. Now, in a women's matchup that I actually am looking forward to, we have the Women's World Championship on the line. Rhea Ripley defending against Raquel Rodriguez. I think this is going to be a very good matchup that can very much surprise some people and could very well be a Raquel Rodriguez coming out party, if you will. I think she's been teetering on that line for a while, like over the last year of WWE kind of pushing her as like one of the next big stars in the women's division. She hasn't really crossed it yet. We saw her as one of the final few in the Royal Rumble this year. They made sure she was on WrestleMania. She's been in her spots. Now she's fighting Rhea Ripley on Saturday, and I think a tear down the house performance could definitely elevate Raquel Rodriguez in, a lot of the minds of people who may not look at her as that, next superstar up, if you will. Now, by no means does that mean is she going to win. I don't think she will. My prediction is that Rhea Ripley will retain the Women's World Championship. She has had the title since WrestleMania, but literally all she's done is defend it against Natalya, and I don't even remember what else. But like, she hasn't, like, it's not that Rhea Ripley's done bad when she's on television. She's just like not wrestling or not defending the title. Like, Rhea's great. It's no problem of her own. It's just they just haven't utilized the fact that she's the champion. You might forget that she's the champion sometimes if they weren't going to remind you. Nonetheless, though, as for Saturday night, Rhea Ripley, I think, will retain the Women's World Championship over Raquel Rodriguez. I think it will be a very good matchup. I think the better women's match of the two that is on the Payback card. And this is actually a situation where I am looking forward to seeing what is next for both women after we get through Payback on Saturday. I don't know when Liv Morgan is going to be coming back, but eventually I would love Liv versus Rhea Ripley. Hell, I think that'd be a great WrestleMania 40 matchup. I'd prefer that over Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch. I'd rather them do that in the near future and save Liv versus Rhea Ripley for WrestleMania. But if anything, it would probably be the other way around if we were to get those two matches. So I'll take what I can get. But as for Saturday night, Rhea Ripley to retain the Women's World Championship over Raquel Rodriguez. Next up, we got the Steel City Street Fight for the WWE World Tag Team Championship. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, hopefully for the last time, wrestling the Judgment Day, Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Listen, all four of these guys have put together some very entertaining matches, but they've literally been wrestling every single week in some way, shape, or form for months on Monday Night Raw. Whether it's been a tag team match, Dominic's in there, it's a six-man, it's a one-on-one. I'm over it. It's been like a rerun all summer long. So hopefully they added a stipulation, which adds a little bit more incentive to be intrigued and excited for this matchup. I'm sure there'll be a couple of cool spots. Get some weapons in there, a little bit of chaos, always fun. But hopefully this is the last time for a while we see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Judgment Day in any way, shape, or form. As for the winner of this matchup, I'm going to predict Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to retain the World Tag Team Championships. They have not defended the titles, correct me if I'm wrong, since Night of Champions in May when they defeated Roman Reigns and actually, wait a minute, no, they defended them against Pretty Deadly on the SmackDown before Money in the Bank. Still a while ago, so it's been a little bit of a hot minute since they defended the titles. And obviously Kevin Owens was on the shelf for a couple of weeks, but a little bit overdue for a tag team title defense. However, I think Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn a lot more to do with those titles. We still need a match with DIY, which Tommaso Ciampa's been running this thing really just on social media. Johnny Gargano missing. Hopefully we're going to get a DIY reunion eventually, and possibly that could be a WrestleMania matchup for all I know. But there's still Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn stuff to do in the tag team division, in my opinion. And I think Judgment Day's storyline as a whole is not past the tag team titles, but there's more going on there than just them holding the tag team titles, if that makes sense. I think Owens and Zayn, the more proper team to be holding the belts right now. So as for Saturday night, I really think this is going to be a good matchup. Hopefully a lot of chaos, hopefully a lot of fun, and hopefully this is the last time these two teams are fighting for a while. But I'm going Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to retain the World Tag Team titles. And then in the main event of Payback, we have the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Seth freaking Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I hope this is going to be the main event. I hope it goes on last. The World Heavyweight Championship has yet to go on last on a premium live event. I hope the Becky Lynch Trish Stratus steel cage match doesn't take the main event over this. That would be absolutely ridiculous. So hopefully Rollins and Nakamura goes on last. I think it should, and I think it'll be a great matchup. Listen, Nakamura, I really wasn't a huge fan to an extent of him turning heel, because it kind of just felt like they were doing it for the sake of feeding him to Seth Rollins, and I still do feel like that. Not really sure what's next for Nakamura after the Rollins feud besides getting fed to the next guy up, whether that's a Cody Rhodes or fill in the blank. But to look at some of the positives, I think the build of this matchup has been really good. They have presented Nakamura in probably the best way he has ever been presented as a heel in WWE. I was not a fan almost at all of his original heel run a couple of years ago. It made no sense. I thought it was very bad television, but this time around I think they've done a very good job. The backstage promos that they've done when Nakamura, revealed, oh, I know about your back, Seth Rollins, this, that, and the other. Very well done. Nakamura looked like $1 million, so I'll definitely give credit where it's due. Nakamura has looked good in the build, and it has been a very entertaining build for the last 4 or 5 weeks, whatever it's been. But with that being said, I do think Shinsuke Nakamura is literally in this role to lose to Seth Rollins, because as I was saying, like throughout the summer, it felt like Rollins did not have many opponents on Monday Night Raw, which is why I thought he was going to lose the world title back at SummerSlam. Like, outside of the Judgment Day, it was like, all right, who's Rollins defending this title against anytime soon? Obviously, he walked out of SummerSlam still the champ. Judgment Day's got their own thing going on right now. Now he's got Nakamura, and even though I would love to see a Nakamura world title run, when you look at where we're at, Damian Priest, Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania time, not too far away, I just don't see a time slot in here for Nakamura to get a legitimate World Championship run. So with that being said, I am going to predict Seth Rollins to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, and I made this same prediction at SummerSlam and it didn't happen, but I'm going to stay true to it here. Last night on Monday Night Raw, the time I'm filming this video, Rhea Ripley said that the Judgment Day needs to walk out with some gold on Saturday night. Now, of course, they are contending for the Tag Team Championships. I do think they will lose. However, I do think Damian Priest will cash in Money in the Bank on Saturday night. Now, listen, again, I said this at SummerSlam, it didn't happen. Could it not happen on Saturday? Absolutely, but I just think it makes the most sense to do this now, especially if Damian Priest is not going to be walking into WrestleMania next year as the World Heavyweight Champion. It is September, or it's about to be September. Priest can get a couple of month reign through September, through October, November, December. He can lose the title at the Rumble, get a solid 5-month reign out of being the World Heavyweight Champion, and then he can drop it back to whoever's going to be the champ going into WrestleMania, which I think will probably be Seth Rollins defending against Gunther, but that remains to be seen. But if that is going to happen, and Damian Priest is also going to have an actual world title reign, not cashing in the briefcase, either A, losing his cash in, or winning it and then holding it for a month and like nobody ever remembers he was champion, I think he got to cash it in sooner rather than later. So what better spot than Saturday night to cash in, win the World Heavyweight Championship. Judgment Day gets the gold that they were alluding to on Monday Night Raw. Damian Priest has time to actually have a world title run, and Seth Rollins kind of escapes the problem of not having any opponents right now until we get the WrestleMania season. Gunther possibly is no longer the Intercontinental Champion, and we get Rollins versus Gunther for the big gold belt at WrestleMania 40 next year. There's my little bit of fantasy booking. So as for Rollins and Nakamura, Rollins retains, Damian Priest cashes in and wins the World Championship. But that'll be my predictions for Payback on Saturday night. Obviously, the review video will be coming this weekend as well. And stay tuned tomorrow night here on the channel. Me and Nick Storm Review will be live to discuss AEW All Out and give our predictions for that show, which will be on Sunday night. We'll also be giving a little bit of review for All In this past Sunday. So stay tuned tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Leave your predictions down below in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe as well. Go follow me across all social medias at Noah Nation Vlogs. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.